Okay, boys and girls, this is our lesson 4.3. This is the second and third page of the extra practice. Okay, so let's go over some of these problems because some of them are very tricky. So the first one says the ratio of the amount of money Jason had to the amount of money Wilson had was 12 to 13. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a little chart, and I'm going to set it up, and I'm going to have Jason and Wilson. And to start it off with, Jason had 12 and Wilson had 13. Remember, these are our units. After Wilson spent 63, so we're going to subtract 63. The ratio then became that Jason had 3 times as much. Well, Jason didn't change. He stayed at 12, and so we have to figure out Wilson had 3 times less than Jason, so that would be 4, because 4 times 3 is 12. So I look at this and I say, okay, so Wilson went from 13 units to 4 units, and 13 units to 4 units is 9 units. So I make a bar, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 pieces, and I know it equals 63. So it's 63 that it equals. Let me just draw a line there. So I need to figure out how much every single unit is. Well, I have 9 units there because 13 minus 4 was 9, and I divide it into 63, and you should know that each one's 7. So with that, what I need to do then is I look back at our chart, and I'm going to write real. Now this is the real numbers. So I take 4 units, times it by 7, and I get 28 for Wilson. So Jason is 12 units times 7. So 12 times 7 is 84. Now that's going to help you get the answer for A and B. You guys can figure that out at that point. All right, so the next one for number 5, it says Gina has a box of red, blue, and green markers. The ratio of red markers to blue markers is 5 to 2. So let's make a little chart. So I have red, I have blue, and I have green. So in red, blue, and green, it says, for red and blue, it says 5 red to 2 blue. Then it says our next ratio, so that's ratio 1. Ratio 2 is 3 to 5. So now what we need to do is find the ratio of red to green. Okay, so I look what's in common, what they have in same both of the ratios, and that's blue. And the problem with this one is it goes from 2 to 3. Now, you could do this. You could say to yourself, okay, how did it go up? And you could say it's multiplying by 1.5. So you can multiply the red by 1.5, and you would get 7.5. And it would be 7.5 to 5, and I would accept that. However, what you could do is this. We could make these, and I'm just going to get a new page. We originally had, let me just go back, 5, 2, then 3, 5. Okay. So red, blue, and green. We originally had 5 to 2 and 3 to 5, right? Yes. So what we could do is this. You could say, okay, so what's in common is the blue, but they don't have a common number. 1's 2, 1's 3. So we can make these into common numbers. And to do that, I can make each one, the least common denominator, if you think about it, would be 6. If you were talking about a fraction. So we can make them each to 6. So if I do that, to get to 6, it's 2 times 3 is 6. So I make the 5 into 15 because I multiply by 3. On our second ratio, we made the 3 into a 6, so times it by 2, so this would be 10. So now I have them in common. 15, 6, because they're the same, and 10. So if I have 15, 6, and 10, now I can compare them. So it's 15 to 10. So let's go back. So it's 15 to 10. And if you reduce 15 to 10, you could divide by 3, it's 3 to 2. So the answer would be 3 to 2. So I would take 7.5 to 5, though, but it's really 3 to 2. Okay, number 6. So number 6 looks like this. At a banquet, we had boys to girls. So it's boys to girls, and boys to girls is 5 to 3. Halfway through the banquet, 20 boys leave, so it's minus 20. and the ratio becomes 5 to 4. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to figure out how many girls are at the banquet. All right, so even though, if you look at the ratio, boys, it looks like they stayed the same because they each have 5. They didn't stay the same. They actually went down, but the reason why the ratio, they're 5 is because the girls actually increase. So that's why they're up to the ratio of from 5 to 3 to 5 to 4. And when I say they increase, it didn't mean that more girls came. It's just that they increase because there's less boys. So if I look at the girls, they're actually the ones that did not change. The amount of girls there did not change. It was the amount of boys that changed. But this is kind of similar to the previous problem, where if you notice 3 and 4 aren't the same. So what we should do is just make them the same. And again, I'm going to make this 12 and this 12. So to make it 12, what I did was I multiplied 3 times 4 is 12. So I need to do the same thing with the 5. So I'm going to make that 20. This one is 4 to 12 is 3, so I'm going to make this 15. Now I look at this and I say, okay, we went from 20 units of boys to 15 units. When we subtracted there, we subtracted 5 units. So that's where we're going to make our bar. 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 units there. Those 5 units represent, in real, 20 boys. So the 20 boys that it represents, there's 5 units. We know that each unit is 4. So if each unit is 4, then I can multiply. Now I have a unit. So now I can multiply the 15 and then the 12. So 15 times 4 is 60 boys. And then there's 48 girls. Originally, there were 20 times 4 is 80 boys and 48 girls. But the answer for this, because we want to know how many girls there are, after the boys left, it was 48. So 48 is the answer. Let me see okay, next couple. So it says Lee, Sean, Jade share a box of beads, 754. So we're going to make a chart. So we have Lee to Sean to Jade, and we have our total. So it starts with Lee to Sean is 4 to 3. Then it says the ratio of Sean to Jade is 9 to 5. And then we have one more. Our total is 754, and this is real. This is like the real beads. The rest, the first one and the second one, are just ratios. So I look at what's in common, and in common is Sean, and I go from 3 to 9, so I multiply by 3. So we want to get Lee. We're going to multiply Lee by 3, and he's going to be 12. So now I have a ratio of 12 to 9 to 5. But I still need right here the total. So excuse me. So the total units, we just add them up, is 12 plus 9 is 21 plus 5 is 26. So you need to figure out, you're going to have to divide. How did you get from 26 to 754? And that'll tell you how many units, how much is each unit worth. So how many beads are 1 unit. Then you just need to multiply the bottom ratios, and that will give you your answer for A, and you can figure out B then. Okay, so number 8. Number 8 looks like this. And it's a little tricky because if you look at it carefully, there's a decimal in there. So this starts with Aiden and Jacob. And the ratio is really 3.5 to 6.8. That's what the ratio is. And yes, you can have a decimal in a ratio. Jacob collected $115.50 more than Aiden. So Jacob has $115.50 more. So what I need to do is, if I look at this, I see that the difference here is 3.3 when I subtract, and that's units. Those 3.3 units are going to equal the difference of how much more Jacob had, and he had $115.50 more. So what you would need to do is you're going to need to divide that. And if you divide that, it'll give you 1 unit price. Once you divide these two, that gives you 1 unit. Remember, our ratios are our units. Once you get that 1 unit, you're going to take that number, whatever you get, and you have to multiply by each one, and then add it together. That will give you your total. Or if you take 3.5, add it to 6.8, you're going to get a total, and then times that by the unit price that you just found. Okay, number 9. Oh, let me get this. Okay, when a bakery opened this morning, the ratio number of pineapple muffins to mango muffins was 3 to 2. So pineapple to mango was 3 to 2. After 144 muffins were sold, pineapple muffins, sorry, yep, pineapple, sorry. The ratio went to 3 to 5. Okay. So what happened here was after the pineapples were sold, there was 144 sold. It went down from it went from 3 to 2 to 3 to 5 was the ratio. Okay, so now we need to figure out how many muffins were there when the bakery opened. Okay, so what I would do with this problem is very similar to the other problems. What we need to do, let me just move this over, is to figure out, okay, which one didn't change. And that was really muffins. Muffins didn't change because we didn't, I'm sorry, when I say muffins, I meant mango. Mango didn't change. Why didn't mango change? Because we didn't sell any. So what we need to do is we need to make these common, though, because if I looked at that, it's 2 and 5. It's hard to compare. So let's make them the same number. I'm going to make them 10. So if they were like fractions and you want to add fractions, the least common denominator of 2 and 5 would be 10. So now if I changed 10, I went from 2 to 5, so it's multiplying by 5. So this is going to be 15 now. If I went from, now I went from 5 to 10, which is times 2. So I need to times the 3 by 2, and now I have 6. Okay, so now it says, how many muffins were there when the bakery opened? Okay, so now I need to figure out my unit here. So we went down in units by 9. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a bar. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And those 9 are going to equal a total of 144 pineapple muffins. So it went down 9 units, and the 9 units equal the real number of 144. So what I need to do is take 144, and I'm going to divide it by 9. And if you do that, you should get 16. So 16 represents each unit. So now I need to go back to my problem. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 16 and multiply 16 by 15, and that will tell me how many pineapple. If I want to know how many mango in the morning, it would be 16 times 10, which is 160. Okay? Look, if you get stuck, I know some of these are very tricky. We're going to review again tomorrow and go over them. So no worries, just do your best.